my latest venture into clothing improvisations is, in addition to this jacket of mine, it's a very nice warm-up jacket that says Italia on it. Okay, and I got this many years ago when we were driving our son to a soccer match in Pennsylvania. And near the field was a Goodwill. And I went into the Goodwill and I found this jacket here. I thought, wow, but what a beautiful jacket. Okay, and I bought it. And, well, I didn't wear it that much for many years. And then in recent years, I've decided to wear it. And now I've made an addition to it. And I'm saying that this addition I've made is meaningful in ways that are becoming increasingly clear to me, but were not clear to me when I started to make this addition to this jacket. Okay, so what have I done to this jacket? Okay, well, let me show what I've done. Okay. All right. What I've done is I made an addition to the back of the jacket. Okay. Here. I added this, what would you call this? I was thinking this is on the back, this is the back, this is the collar of the jacket. There's the front, and this is in the back. Well, I got to say that first off, our uniforms as members of the varsity basketball team of the high school I attended, and they had quite a good team at this school. The year before, they were state champions in the state of Maryland. This team that I was on the following year. Now, their warm-up jackets, they had this kind of thing on the back of the warm-up. And it's kind of like, I was thinking to myself, it's kind of like a, what would you call this? Like a bib kind of that hangs in the back of naval uniforms. Like, I've been watching the movie The Guns of Navarone lately, and I think the Greek Navy, at the time of World War II, because that's when this movie takes place, they had this kind of a bib hanging down in the back of their naval uniforms. So this actually is a baby's bib. I bought this at Maddie's Market in Kensington. It's a baby's bib, and it says, I love Israel, okay? So I took it and I sewed it onto the back of my jacket. Now, what I had under this was a, what would you call this? An embroidered eagle that said USA on it. It's about, I don't know, it's about the width of this thing here. And I covered that, I sewed that on there a couple of years ago. Okay, on the back of this Italy jacket, it said, it's like an eagle with wings spread. And, you know, it's a very colorful, beautiful embroidery patch. I sewed it onto the back of my jacket. And now I've covered it up with a baby's bib. So I was wondering why I did that. Now, I've said that America's Man of the Year was sexually abusing me while I was growing up. He was in the Navy during World War II. It was a big, big, big thing for him. Now, he even got a 21-gun salute when he was buried because he was in the Navy during World War II. Now, he was in the war against Japan. And as I recall, he used to say he was 36 months at sea. I think 36 is what he said, not 42 months. He said, I was 36 months at sea. Okay. This was like an understatement of his, the way he was describing his time in the Navy. Now, I've been saying that I was sexually abused by this man, and at other times I've said that during my life, at times I've thought, or I've heard stories like in the news occasionally. They come up in the news like uh, if I was driving along, I might hear on my car radio news that a man was arrested for sexually abusing a baby. I say to myself, what could somebody have possibly done to a baby? I'm saying, God. Okay, so like within the past year, I asked online a few questions like, what kind of a sexual crime happens when a person is accused of sexually abusing a baby? What are they doing to that baby? And I didn't get any answers online. I got uh, a response from online that said, this is a very serious crime. If you hear or know anything like this, report it. Okay, so I don't know what kind of crime a person would commit on a baby. However, I was saying to myself, over the past few years when I've been thinking about the sexual abuse that I must have endured, although I have no conscious memories of this, I've been saying, I think there are a lot of indications that this sexual abuse that I endured must have happened all the way back to when I was an infant. And I was one of those babies that was sexually abused. And one of the main reasons I'm saying that is because over the past few years, when this has come to my consciousness, I'm saying the word mommy all the time as a source of rescue for me. In fact, this person I've been calling Bishuasi, I'm always referring to her as mommy, as if she's going to come to my rescue. It's mommy who's going to rescue me, mommy, mommy. And as in that song by John Lennon about his love for Yoko Ono, when he's saying that he calls out her name at all times of the day. Well, at all times of the day and at night when I'm going to sleep, and at all times I'm calling out for Bishuasi as mommy. Why mommy? Well, did I call my mother mommy? No. Only when I was very, very young. When I got older, I called her mom like other American kids call their mother. Usually it happens that, in my experience, that's the word for mother in America, mom. Except for very young kids. We're talking when kids can first say the word mom, they're going to be saying mommy, maybe. I haven't given this much thought, but to be referring to this person, Bishuasi, who I am, the word Bishuasi is Bishuati in Hebrew, and it means my salvation. From the prayer I get it from, that's the translation I have. Psalm 91. It's the last word of that prayer, which ends, and I will show you my salvation, and the word is Bishuati. So my name for this person is Bishua. I pronounce it Bishuasi, giving it what I believe is an Ashkenazic pronunciation. And so I'm calling this person my salvation, mommy, all the time. So the other day I was in Mahdi's Market, and I saw this baby's bib, and I bought it. And then I brought it home, and a week or two passed, maybe more. And the other night I found myself covering up that American symbol on the back of this Italian jacket here with that bib. And as I'm saying, I've been watching the movie The Guns of Navarone, and I think the Greek naval outfits, and I think other navies have this kind of bib. I could check online, but I believe they do. And so the Navy and Italy are both associations that go together with America's Man of the Year, who is of Italian descent. I don't believe he was my biological father, but I'm also Italian descent because my biological father was Italian and he was an Italian immigrant. So I have this jacket here with an American eagle on it, and I'm covering up with a baby's bib. And I'm saying that I now suspect that I was one of those babies who was being sexually abused all the way back to infancy. I'm suspecting that could be one of the reasons why all that I just said has happened. Well, that's all from me for now. Today is the 11th of May, 2026. And right now it's 9 minutes after 10 p.m. Okay, I just completed a video on my suspicion that America's Man of the Year was not only sexually abusing me when I was a teenager, but he was abusing me sexually when I was an infant, probably. Now, after I made that video, I noticed my stomach is feeling the way it feels when, by now, I can say that I'm being targeted with, I would say, an ultrasound weapon. Because I've read that an ultrasound weapon can cause nausea and it can cause stomach upset, leading to nausea. So since I've been targeted by that weapon, and I've been targeted enough to recognize the signs when I am being targeted, I went and got my earmuffs to help protect me from that ultrasound. They do help. They do help. So I just want to say that these are buddies, I don't know what else to say, of America's Man of the Year doing this to me because of the crimes he helped them commit. And who are these folks? Well, they are suspected secret police of the United States of America doing this to me. That's who they are. So, that's as much as I can say at the present time. Let me see how helpful it is to have these earmuffs on. I bought these at Home Depot. They fit really well. They didn't cost that much. I don't remember the cost. They're not that expensive. And they are helpful. So that I should notice that this feeling in my stomach will begin to go away if I keep these on. Let's see what happens. Today's 11th of May, 2026, and the time is 16 minutes after 10 p.m. I've been saying that a microwave weapon has been used on me and developed for over 40 years, okay? Now, I was just remembering how, at the time this must have started, I was a graduate student at GW University. And I'm remembering now how every evening I went to school there, and I don't know the streets. I don't know the street names. I really don't. I never learned them. But the student center is down there around, I don't know, is it 20th Street and G Street? I don't know. The student center is there, and if you go down that street heading westward, you'll come to Gelman Library. And I had a library carrel that's a little like space, private space, with a door you can lock. There's a desk in there and a filing cabinet. And I had a library carrel on the fourth floor of Gelman Library. And after eating at the cafeteria there in the student center every evening, I'd go up to my library carrel, and I'd sit down in my chair, and guess what? I'd fall asleep. For about a half hour. That was every single evening. Now, why did I do that? I'd never taken naps before in my life, ever. I had a very tough schedule at the University of Maryland. I was working and taking a tough schedule of classes, trying to get good grades, so I was working very hard at the University of Maryland. I never took naps like that, ever. Now, I graduated at age 22 from the University of Maryland in December 1975, and in fall 1976, I'm a graduate student at GW. And suddenly, every time I eat dinner and go up to my library carrel, I'm falling asleep for a half hour every single day. Now, it's at the same time that a cough starts to develop in me, around the time I get my master's degree. So, while I'm getting that degree, okay, I'm falling asleep every single night in that chair. After I eat, right after I eat. I'm just noticing that, and I'm saying that this microwave weapon and ultrasound weapon, whatever kind of weapon it is, it began being used on me at that time, and there's evidence, in my opinion, of the beginning research and development of that weapon on me, right there. Today is 11th of May, 2026, and right now it's 26 minutes after 10 p.m. Okay, I've said that way back in 1988, I was reaching out to a broadcast journalist for friendship and more. Right, I was a young man, so I was looking to get married and have a family and children soon. But I was also desperately looking for friendship to try to escape the catastrophic abuse that had come down on me in 1982, declaring me to be crazy when I was nothing but kind. So I was desperately trying to find a friend that could help me, and I figured this person in journalism was that friend, and the result of that was I was accused by that person of harassing her. I was brought to a court and found to be guilty of harassing her when I was desperately trying to escape abuse and murder and the rest of it. Okay, that's what happened to me. Now, I'm going to address you, Bishuasi, now. You know who you are as far as me addressing you. I've tried to keep this somewhat blurry, let's say, so that I don't get put in a courtroom and falsely accused when I'm asking for help. I'm going to say now I want you to help me get out of the United States as soon as possible. And the reason is that, like abused women trying to escape from an abusive husband, women like that are in danger of being murdered by that abusive husband. And they do need help, from what I've read about this across the years. And if they don't get that help, they can't be murdered by the abusive husband. They need to get the help. So I'm saying that the United States of America is behind the abuses I've suffered. Probably from childhood, but definitely since 1982. And I'm saying at this point, this abusive United States of America is, for me, what that abusive husband is for a woman. Okay? And if I don't get out of the United States safely, I'm going to get murdered by that abusive husband, by that abusive United States of America. That's what's going to happen to me. So, here I am. I am now asking you to help me. Okay? And I'm not going to accept help from anybody else, because it's not going to be help. I've got a lifetime of experience in this mess. And because of the ways I'm misunderstood by my own sex and by the opposite sex most of the time, I'm not going to get any help from people like that. I'm simply not. I've got a lifetime of experience at this. So I'm asking you, Bishuasi, for help. There it is. Today is the 11th of May, 2026, and the time is 32 minutes after 10 p.m. Okay, for this final footnote, there was a guy at the school I went to that I value very highly. The school I went to, I value very highly. Anyway, this guy was the son of a teacher I really liked. I'm not going to say anybody's name. I really liked this teacher because he was my soccer coach. When I was in the 6th grade, he used to play soccer with us, and it was just a blast that he was out there playing with us, okay? Now, so this was his son, and when his son was in the upper school, that's the high school at this school, he ran for student council president. Now, I didn't know anything about this son at all. I just knew he was the son of this teacher that I really liked. So, when I saw him coming up to the stage to give his speech for student council president, I was as ready to vote for him as I was for anybody else, because I didn't know the other people running either. So, here's what he said when he got up to the podium. He said, "You're not going to vote for me, but," and then he went on, and I tell you what, as soon as he said that, I said, "You're right, I'm not going to vote for you if you say something like that. I'm not going to vote for you at all." And I did. So, I often sound like him myself, and I'm going to sound like him now. I'm going to say, do I really believe that the person I'm going to call him Bishuasi is going to help me the way I just asked for help? She's going to come and rescue me from possibly being murdered in the United States, because I'm like the wife of an abusive husband who often murders that wife, and she goes back to him. She stays with him too long. Do I actually believe she's going to show up to that? No, I don't. I gotta say I don't. Let me put this on pause a second. Now, often in these recordings I say, I got a lifetime of experience in this battle. I do. And the kind of quasi-ultimatum that I just issued as an ask for help is real. It's real. I would like that to happen. I'd like for this person I'm calling Bishuasi to come and get me the hell out of the United States right now. If fact, I've been asking in many different ways for that to happen now for a couple of years, and I've had bags packed. So now I'm just being explicit, but do I believe it's going to happen? No, I don't. Well, I just want to say that. Now, this person who said that about himself, he did not become student council president, but he won an Olympic medal later. I'm not going to say what he won it in, but as far as I know, he is the only student from that school who ever won an Olympic medal. A medal in the Olympic Games, he won one. So, he did not become student council president, but there's that to be reckoned with when you're thinking about him. Now, let me pause before I sign off. I've been watching the movie The Guns of Navarone a lot. In fact, it's on right now. Let me show you. I don't know if you can see the TV over there. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Anyway, it's on right now, and in that movie, this group of saboteurs, they knock out these two big German guns during World War II, and it's amazing what they do. It really is. And this is supposed to be a true story, although at the beginning, the narrator says that this is the legend of Navarone that you're going to be watching. At the same time, the narrator says, but these are ordinary people. These are not people like Hercules, like legendary heroes. They're just ordinary people who accomplished this incredible sabotage that they accomplished. And what I want to say is, at the beginning there of the movie, the man who sets them the task of knocking out these guns, he says that he doesn't believe that they're going to be successful. Well, they are successful, and the two main characters who are responsible for that success, they say to each other, after they see the guns blowing up that they planted explosive to blow up, they're saying to each other, you know what? I didn't think we were going to be successful at this. The one says, and the other says, I didn't think so either. Well, so it's not necessarily true if you make a statement like this son of a teacher I really liked, that you weren't going to vote for him and he wasn't going to get elected. He still might have got elected. I don't know what the history of that statement is. And well, when you're looking at that movie, if that's a true story, just about there wasn't anybody involved in that who thought they were going to be successful, and yet they were. So, quite honestly, I'm asking for this help that I'm asking for, and I do believe what I'm saying is true. Now, the time schedule on this may be off, okay? So that if people are definitely, they've tried to murder me several times. Okay, let me recount quickly without just digging too long. The first murder attempt was when I was 17 years old. In a car out of the blue came straight at me at a high speed, and I just sat there in the driver's seat looking at it, facing it down, thinking, I don't know. It was coming directly at me, and at the last second, it swerved because the guy lost control, and it hit the back of my car. It was my mother's car. It was parked on a side street in D.C. If that car would have hit me, I would have been killed. I didn't budge. That was the first murder attempt. The second murder attempt was the radiation poisoning I got in 1982, and that very nearly killed me. The third murder attempt was I was a courier for America's Man of the Year's Radiology exploded with me in it, but I got out and I survived that one. The next murder attempt was I'm coming back across country, pulling my 30-foot travel trailer, and I'm coming to exit 82. I believe it's on Route 68. It crosses the Panhandle of Maryland. I think it's called 68. And the exit off 68, at the end of 68, I think it's exit 82, which is symbolic, right? Of 1982, that very nearly successful murder attempt on me. And now there's a murder attempt at exit 82. And these cars around me tried to get me into an accident there. They weren't successful. One of the cars clearly almost lost control during that attempt, and that was the last murder attempt that I know of. So, I'm not joking. People have tried to kill me, and they're doing this to me. A cough, 40 years, stomach trouble, 40 years, dizzy after I eat or drink, this kind of thing. A kind of being trapped in a spider web and sucked on by a spider, okay? The spider is the United States of America, okay? So, I'm very serious, and now I'm going to address you, Bishuasi, about what I'm asking you. But do I expect you to show up and do this? No, I don't. Well, that's all from me for now. Bye for now.